Hello everyone, this is Himanshu here. Today we will be studying about pipelines, how to write custom pipelines in Python using scikit-learn. There is a written tutorial about this whole video which you are watching right now. You can find the link to that in the comment section. It's a text tutorial. In case you find it much more suitable or easy to go through an article, then you can go through that instead of the video. So the points we'll be covering today is how to write a custom pipeline. I believe since you are watching this video, you must already be aware why a pipeline is needed. It helps you pre-process most of the training and testing data. It's a very recommended procedure to avoid target leakage while processing data frames and data sets. There are two types of transformations which you can do. One is for the input features and one is for the target feature. Those are handled differently. Most pipelines only deal with how to scale or transform input features, but you can very easily couple it with a transform target regressor to even transform the target variables. Um, Not many tutorials actually delve into the groundwork on the basics on how this actually works behind the scenes and how you should be able to write a very basic custom transformer on your own. And I had quite a few problems when I tried doing this on my own. I was not very clear where the calls were being made, and hence this video, and hopefully you will find it helpful for you. So I'll get started now. So I write most of my code in Colab. However, this code is available on GitHub. Again, the link to that code is in the comment section. You can download it from there and use it directly. So this is basically all the imports. Let's get on with the actual data. So we'll create a dummy data set, a data frame. I have created this specifically to showcase a particular behavior. So let's see what this relationship is. There are three columns, two are input features x1 and x2, and there is a target variable y. Value could be something like 116 or 9 or 298. If you look closely at the data, you will find this relationship that the target variable is x1 plus twice into square root of x2. So basically 36 root is 6 into 2 is 12 plus 3 is 15. This is the pattern I have followed in the whole data set. I have done it because I do not want this data to follow a typical simple linear model. So let's split it into train and test. The first 6 records till here are going to be used for training and the rest two are test data. What we need to predict are these values 14 and 17. So we'll pick up a very simple linear regression model, no customization, and try to see what the predictions are. Instead of 14 and 17, it predicts 13.72 and 16.93, which is not bad, but let's see if we can do some manipulation with the data and convert this into a linear model completely. So since we know the relationship beforehand, if I apply this, that we square root x2 and multiply it by 2, and then try to fit the model, it will become a purely linear model. For example, x2 for the last two values 25 and 36 will become 10 and 12, and now the target variable is simply a sum of x1 and x2. So all I did here is all the values x2 are now their square root and then multiplied by 2. Same for the test variables. Since I did this transformation to x2, this has become a purely linear model, and a linear model will be able to predict this perfectly, which it is able to do here, 14 and 17. So this is a perfect prediction. Now let's restore the data because I actually modified the data set itself here. I want to reuse it, so I'm going to once again just reset it to initial values. Now we'll try to do this using a pipeline. Now pipeline is just a combination of various steps you want to do one after the another. So for example, in this case, if you look at this line, this is the syntax of using a pipeline. You take a variable name, you use the keyword pipeline, this is a class pipeline, you use the parameter steps to define what are the steps are going to be in your pipeline. In our pipeline for the moment, it's only linear regression, and you can give it any name which you want. Linear underscore model is the name I went for. This has to be a list, so this is inside a square bracket. So I make this pipeline and then I try to fit this on the original data. No transformation has been done. This is just to validate that the pipeline syntax is still able to predict exactly the same predictions which were given us by the simple linear model, which it is 13.72, 16.93. It is exactly the same as 13.72 and 16.93. So at least our syntax is okay, it's working as intended. Even in the pipeline format, a linear regression works the way it is. So a couple of things about the syntax here. Once you declare the pipeline, you need to fit it. So normally what would you do is create a linear regression model as we did here. Then you use to fit it m2.fit and then use this fit to predict something. It's almost the same here, but instead of a model, you use a variable in pipe1 is equal to the pipeline. You use the pipeline to fit on the training data, and then you generate the predictions by predicting using that pipe1. So now I want to do some transformation. For example, just before the linear regression, I want to write my own transformer, which will do calculations on the input features x1 and x2. I can name it anything. I chose the name experimental transformer. This is the class I'll be creating, and I named it as experimental underscore trans. So now this experimental transformer has to be written. So this is where I write this. Experimental transformer. This is a class I write. It inherits from two existing classes of scikit-learn. Those are base estimator and transformer mixin. So whenever you write a transformer, what you need to do is be sure to implement these three methods. First is the constructor. It is always known as init, preceded by double underscore and succeeded by a double underscore. You pass the self object here, and I'm just going to write print init here, that's it. Then there is the fit. As the name suggests, this is going to be called when you actually fit the pipeline on something. Here also I'm not going to do anything and simply print that the fit has been called and return self. And then the third one, transform. Here we are going to do the actual work, whatever transformations we want to do. I first print that the transform has been called. I create a copy of x which is going to be passed here. So if you see, when you fit on anything, there are two parameters, the x, the train x, and the train y. So this x is actually this train x. This is going to be passed here. So this x, I create a copy and I do my calculations here that it should be twice the square root of it, and then I return that new calculated value. Now the reason of actually inheriting from base estimator and transformer mixin has been given very nicely in one of these links, the first one. These links are inside the code if you download it from GitHub. This is also in the text format of the article which is posted on Medium, and I will very strongly recommend that you go through these links because those are very few and good links which have been posted on the net for quite some time, which explain pipeline very nicely. Okay, now having written this basic code of init, fit and transform, let's see how do we call it. So this you saw. So in the steps we added this much on top of the linear regression. What it does is it will call this, and whatever results you have returned from transform is passed on to linear regression for applying the model. I have given print command everywhere so that I can understand what is called when. I needed to debug it on a step-by-step basis. So let's see. First is create pipeline. When I run this, obviously this is going to be printed. Then the pipeline is created or instantiated, and it makes sense that the init or the constructor of the experimental transformer is called, which it is called right here. Then fit pipeline 2, fit pipeline 2, then we try to fit the pipeline. Now the important thing here is whenever fit is called, both fit and transform functions inside your class transformers are called. So this is called as well as this is called. This is in line with how all models work. When you try to fit on a training data set with a given target variable, fit and transform are internally called. So this is what is happening here as well. Then we predict y pipeline 2. We predict y pipeline 2. Then we call the predict method of the pipe 2. This predict only and only calls the transform function. This test x this time is passed here, and once again it's square rooted and twice of it is passed. The linear model tries to predict whatever values it can, and as expected, as we saw in the last step, it predicts the perfect values of 14 and 17. So this was a simple example of how to go about it. Now one thing which we did here was we hard coded this x2. We said that x2 is the column whose square root has to be calculated and then has to be doubled. This is not a very good practice. You should normally pass this from your pipeline. So what we'll do is we'll pass this to the constructor from here. So this is what we do in the next step. I'll show you the call first. This remains almost everything is the same. I just changed the name of the transformer and made it a new transformer, experimental transformer underscore 2, and I passed the column name as a string x2. Let's see the new transformer, experimental transformer underscore 2. Everything is same. Here I have taken a new variable, a new parameter in the constructor, feature underscore name. This could be anything, whatever you want to keep it. And just since I'm showing you how to pass parameters and how to use them, I've also taken a keyword parameter, keyword argument, additional underscore param with its default value as Himanshu. Now what we do is we initialize this to this, so self.feature name, so that it can be used by rest of the functions. So self.feature name is equal to whatever you have passed from here. Please make sure that this name and this name is same. Now this is not necessary from a programming point of view. So ideally if you write something like this, it should still work, and then this same variable you should be able to use everywhere. So here, but this will cause problems for you later on when we are using transformed target regressor. So my recommendation is to use exactly same name. This problem was encountered and then was resolved thanks to this Stack Overflow question. So please make use of that. You can go through the link later to understand what the problem behind the scenes is. So we'll do this. We'll initialize self.feature name is equal to feature name, self additional param is equal to additional param. In the self, once again, in the fit, once again, we are not doing anything. I'm simply printing the additional param here just for fun. In the transform, it still is the same name. Instead of hard coding x2, we are using the self.feature name variable and saying that x2 or whatever has been passed here is equal to square root of it into 2. So this is the only change I have done. If we run this, we'll get the exact same output, obviously with some extra printing here, and the prediction is same, 14 and 17. So this was transforming the input features. Now let's see what happens if we want to transform the target feature, in this case y. So I have kept the whole data frame as before. There are no changes apart from whatever I have changed in y. So you might have already figured this out. All I have done is squared y. So earlier it was 9, now it is 81, earlier it was 16, now it is 256, so on and so forth. So this is the relationship now. Okay. Now if I try to fit a simple linear regression on this, once again this will fail, because this is not a simple linear model anymore. I try to do the transformation on the input features, it won't be able to predict 14 and 17 because it's not a linear model anymore. So what we'll do is we'll need to transform this y now. So there are multiple ways to do this. Scikit-learn gives you two ways how you can transform the target, by using functions or creating a transformer of your own. So let's see the function way, which is a sort of a simpler way first. You need to give two functions, a target underscore transform. This could be any name. I have kept it as target underscore transform, and inverse underscore target underscore transform. These two typically are inverse of each other. So what you are saying is, while trying to predict, while you are fitting the model at that point of time, transform this using this. So basically square root of y is to be treated as y, and then try to fit the model, which will give a perfect linear model. Then obviously predictions will be made, and the y which will be predicted will have to be squared so that they can match the actual scale of the target variable. So what I'm doing is the inverse of this here. So in the target transform, if I'm doing the square root, the predictions will be also 9, 16, something like that. But the predictions need to be the square of that, and hence this has to be applied, and hence I'm saying raise it to the power of 2. So these two functions I have defined now. What I'll do now is try to put this into the pipeline. So our initial pipeline remains the same. This is as it is because this only deals with input features. You need not touch anything here. What you need to do is create a new transformed target regressor. This class is provided by scikit-learn. So you say something like this: model is equal to transform target regressor. The first parameter regressor is the name of the pipeline. So the pipeline you had created to scale or transform the input features has to go here, which is pipe3. Then you say func, which is the function which is to be applied on y, on target feature. You say the name of the function, which is target transform. Then the next parameter is inverse underscore func, what needs to be applied while inversing it, while making the final predictions. After making the final predictions, that has to be inverse target transform. Inverse target transform. Notice that it takes only one input here, which effectively is the y, is the prediction or the feature here. So this is the target feature which is actually passed here. This is the prediction which is passed here. So let's call this. Notice the different syntax here. Earlier we used to fit pipe3. So it used to be pipe3.fit. Now it has to be model.fit. So model.fit on the training set, and then use model to predict on the test set, and whatever is predicted is printed here. Ideally we should see 196 and 289, the values which are the last two values in our data set. Let's run this and see how it is called, and we get the perfect predictions. There is something you should take care of here. Let's analyze this in much more detail. Create pipeline 3 was called as expected. This was printed. Pipeline was initialized, so init was called. Then this command, this print was printed, fit pipeline 3 fit model. Then there was a fit of the model. The fit of the model caused our functions to be called twice here. Target transform, then inverse, then target transform, then inverse of it, and once again target transform, and then the fit was called, the transform was called, and when the predictions were made, the final transform was called, and finally inverse target transform was called. So I can understand this as the last step because the predictions have to be converted back. I can understand this transform is being done, the prediction is being done, so the transform has to be called. I can understand this, that fit is being called, so fit and transform are called. I can even understand this, that for the first time it calls target transform before fitting it on the training data, but I can't understand why this is called twice. Ideally this should not be. You should avoid this because if your pipeline is big or there's a complex project you are working on, this is just an overhead. There is a way to avoid it. What you do is pass an extra parameter called check inverse. So if you see here, I passed a parameter check inverse is equal to false. This by default is true, and hence it tries to always check for transform target and inverse transform target again and again and again. If you say this, then it only does it once, but we'll go into much detail about that. Another way of doing this, as I said previously, instead of using functions, is using your own transformer. So for example, you could use something like this: the transform target regressor. Once again, the name of the regressor first, the pipeline, pipe31 or whatever the name is. Instead of writing func and inverse func, you can write your custom transformer like you did for input features, experimental transformer which you wrote, You can write a custom target transformer or whatever the name you want to keep here and pass it as a parameter to transformer. Let's see how this custom target transformer looks. It will do exactly the same thing which we did in the func and invoke func. So this is the custom target transformer. It again inherits from base estimator and transformer mixin. There is no need to implement init, at least in our particular case. So constructor you can bypass here. It's the default constructor. The fit is not going to do anything here. So let's return self. There will be just one extra parameter, the target. The transform is going to do something here. The square root of the target, which we did in func. Now in addition to transform, you will also have to write inverse transform. These function names have to be the same. These can't change. So fit and transform is something you wrote for experimental transformer. In case of a target transformer, you have to write fit, transform and an inverse transform. Once again, this is exactly the same code which was inside inverse func. So I have just written it here, given some print messages so that I understand that this is being called. So let's see here, pipe 3 is exactly the same. The model as we discussed, instead of the previous parameters, we are using transformer. Check inverse is simply to avoid running this transformation again and again. We use model.fit and we use model.predict. You should be able to see here, init is called, fit is called, the custom target transform is called. So basically this transform is called. It is fit, it is transformed, and when we are predicting, then once again transform is called, and as the last step, once everything has been predicted, the custom inverse target transform is called, and we get perfect predictions. So this works beautifully. We have basically clubbed our input feature transformation and transform target transformation. So a few additional things now. We'll see some best practices about how to cache this model so that memory utilization is better, and also how to get or set the parameters. Since you have extended all the classes from base estimator, you can get params and set params. So let's see our model, which was here, this model transform target regressor. We use get underscore params. So we'll see all the parameters which have been passed. So there's something you should note here. If you see this regressor double underscore experimental underscore trans, so this is obviously the name of the initial experimental transformer which we had written. After this, inside experimental underscore trans, we had passed an additional param. So there is again a double underscore and the value of it. There was a feature name parameter which we had used, which was the name of the column. So there again is experimental underscore trans underscore feature name, which basically says feature underscore name is inside experimental underscore trans, which is inside regressor. This is how you follow the hierarchy and try to access elements. I'll show you an example here. So about caching, I'll make a very short comment here. You can use 3 lines of code to cache all the processes into memory. Details of it are at this link. You can go ahead and read on the official scikit-learn website why caching helps and may save time or processing power on your big pipelines. So let's create this pipeline once again. This remains the same. The only difference is I have passed the incorrect column name x1. At a later point of time, I want to correct this. Before that, I create the transform target regressor. This time I used func and inverse func. You can use the transformer function we just studied. That's fine. I used check underscore inverse to avoid multiple calculations. Now I want to correct this column name. Now from this get params, I can understand that this is how I should be accessing x2. This is the parameter key name. So I set that model.set params. The key name is equal to whatever I want to set now. So instead of x1, x2 will be passed here now. Then as usual, I fit the model, I predict the model, I clear the cache, and the perfect predictions are once again visible to us, 196 and 289. So that basically completes all of this and how to tie all this together. Next steps which you should be taking are studying about feature union and column transformer. If you're going to use this in your projects, then any serious pipeline you might create will either have a feature union or a column transformer. You typically need to work on categorical or numerical features separately and then concatenate them back again. And you can do it using feature union or column transformer. The article links which I mentioned at the top, where I mentioned that those are a few of the best articles about pipelines I could find. The first one actually makes use of feature union to explain the concept of pipelines. But on the official website, I could understand that column transformers are a shorter and perhaps a better way to do it. Both feature union and column transformer have their own usages and their own pros and cons, and you can read about those on the official scikit-learn website. And the next step, I'm very confident you would be doing eventually, is hyperparameter tuning or finding out the best parameters using grid search. Using grid search on pipelines follows a particular syntax. Once again, you can read about it on the scikit-learn official website. These two are not very hard to understand if you have the basic grasp of fundamentals, and if you have understood till here, they should be very easy to understand. But do let me know in case of any questions on either the Medium post or here in comment section, and as soon as I can, I'll reply to it. Hope this was helpful to you. Thank you.